So I have more to say about learned helplessness. Now, doesn't just asking for money in and of itself, more and more and more money, and higher not higher, yeah, well, yeah, higher wages and more money for yourself, doesn't that create a form of learned helplessness, relying on money? So the thing I'm gathering is asking for more money and placing such success on money. I mean, now I make my analogies to cave days when humanity was living in caves. So I use that kind of as a gauge and metric to try to keep myself grounded in a center somewhere, because I know at one time humanity did not always have money. The United States couldn't have had an organized system before 250 years ago. So the thing about money, it does create a mentality of learned helplessness when people are always pushing money all the time upon the American public as a forced way of survival. And that's survival and survival of fittest for some. And that has to include the corporations too. And I'm not saying all corporations are bad, because I don't believe that. I don't believe all corporations are bad. Not all of them are on Wall Street. But I want to ask the question, I have to ask this, how money contributes to learned helplessness related to success and business management, because in order for a business to survive and thrive, it has to have people who have money. So if you have a portion of people who don't have money and then another portion of people who do have money, it's only the people who have money that can literally, they're the only ones who have purchasing power. And I always said that and recognized that about my first husband, who I have said he was in the United States military. And even at that time, back in the 1980s, they were putting on TV that women had all this power and were doing things. They make it sound really good that women have all this power, but I always said myself, it's like, he's the one making the money. I have nothing. And then if he has nothing, then we both have nothing. And so this ideology of money and money worship, and the internet has kind of made it worse, so I have a true belief that there's a lot of rhetoric and learned helplessness created based on and surrounding worship of money and learned helplessness of money.